I'm Dave Abrams.
And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll tell you everything you need to know about the Zika virus and meet a community leader in the BWI area. But first, making headlines this week. Traffic relief is on the way for residents in Pasadena. This week, local officials broke ground on a $3.4 million project to add a new westbound passing lane on Mountain Road at Woods Road. This is a long-awaited project, and here is what County Executive Hsu had to say about it.
Major improvements to roads like this require partnerships between local jurisdictions and the state. We recognize that the state can't do everything itself. It just doesn't have the resources. And it is the policy of our administration to put funding forward and human expertise, professional expertise to help advance critical transportation projects in Anne Arundel County, even if they are state roads.
The project is underway and should be completed by the end of this year. Maryland State Highway is overseeing construction, and a big chunk of the cost was picked up by the county to purchase $2.5 million worth of right-of-way property to make this happen. There was lots of honking at that press conference. Don't you think, Dave?
What?
Don't move. Dave, I don't want to scare you.
What?
There's a Charizard on your head.
Oh my God, kill it.
No, you don't kill it. You gotta catch it.
Okay, I'm sitting still.
Catch it. You're supposed to catch it. I got it.
Whew. Good thing there.
Woo!
Where were we? Wow.
Dodged a bullet on that one.
Those Pokemons are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Now. It's
They're
crazy.
everywhere.
No, but the Mountain Road announcement is a very big deal. I don't know if you're familiar with that road. But,
I am.
But I mean, you're from the Davidsonville area, so you know about these peninsula roads.
I do.
And all of them have their issues when whenever there's an accident or something major happens, it closes off the entire peninsula and everybody's sitting in traffic forever. So this is a choke point on the Mountain Road Peninsula there up in Pasadena. So far, I think people have been very happy about this development, and it'll be finished soon enough, and hopefully you're never going to completely fix the issue, which is geography.
Right.
But hopefully this will do a lot.
It'll be very helpful.
Yep. Well, Kristin, it's kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
Kind of nerdy.
Very nerdy.
It's kind of interesting.
Really interesting.
And it can be kind of dangerous.
Watch out.
Pokemon Mania is sweeping the nation with 15 million people downloading the new Pokemon Go app, including Kristin Lagana.
Did not.
Come on, admit it.
Did not. Not gonna do it.
We'll see. We'll check her phone.
But I am very intrigued by it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not after this story.
Okay.
The app is designed based on a game created in 1996 for Nintendo Game Boy and also the popular collectible trading cards that followed. It uses a modified version of Google Maps to make characters appear in front of you virtually, and you have to catch them.
Gotta catch them all.
This has sent people wandering around all over the place catching Pokemon, including buildings, parks, and just about anywhere. Now let's take a look at, I did a little man on the street, Kristin.
Okay.
Talk to some folks in Glen Burnie about this, so let's take a look at what they had to say.
Tell me what you're doing right now.
Playing Pokemon Go.
And have you been doing this for what, on your lunch break or like for an hour or so? Or?
No, I've been doing it since about 11 o'clock this morning.
And you've chosen a different method than most people who
Yeah.
are walking around looking at their phones.
My hoverboard. It gets me around quicker, safer. I'm not in my car. I'm alert and gets me around, like I said, quicker. I've been playing Pokemon on my DS for years. Probably since it came out like in the 1990s.
And what do you like about the game?
Everything from battling to the challenge of catching the Pokemon.
It's an epidemic, more or less, because people are losing their jobs over it. They're not working. They'd rather play this game than pay their bills.
And you said you saw people out here last night?
Yes, 40 to 60 after 3 o'clock in the morning.
40 to 60 people here at Glen Burnie Town Center at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, after 3, and from 8 to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. So you're not a fan?
No, I don't even use a cell phone.
Pretty funny stuff, Kristin.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, hoverboard with the Pokemon.
It's
Kristin,
creepy.
what is that?
What?
There's
What?
a carp on your head.
A magic carp?
There's a magic carp on your head, Kristin.
Did I get him? I want to catch him. Did I
Where's
get it? I got it.
Okay, good.
I got it. Gotta catch them all.
Well, it's not all fun and games, Kristin. This game has become so popular that all kinds of trouble have appeared as well. The Holocaust Museum this week announced that people should please not hunt Pokemon at the museum out of respect, right?
Oh, come on. I mean,
Come on, guys.
Why are there? That's very disrespectful.
Well, now they're trying to get the maker to block certain locations so people aren't wandering into places like that.
I mean, do they see when they create this where they're placing things?
I have not.
Nothing should be around places like the Holocaust Museum.
No, I have not spoken with the programmers yet, but apparently they did not consider that.
We're going to write a letter.
Of course, in Baltimore County, the police department there said that the app has been used to lure victims to robberies.
What?
So yeah, you put out these lures and everybody congregates to that place, so bad people could use that to do bad things. And some people are calling 911 just to report strangers wandering around their yard acting erratically.
Remind me to tell you a funny story about that.
Okay, I will
please.
remind you to do that.
All right.
We talked to Lieutenant Ryan Frazier from the Arundel Police Department with a little bit of some tips, and here's what he told me earlier today.
We do have a couple safety tips that we would like to put out there for parents that have kids that are playing the game. We just ask that you always know where your kids are. Make sure that they ask for permission before they go out and start doing their hunts. Make sure you set guidelines or boundaries. Make sure that they know where they can go, where they can't go, and if they are going to go somewhere, make sure they let their parents know where exactly they're going to be.
And then what about adults?
Adults, we ask that, just like with children, we ask that you always try to travel in groups if you're out and about. Try to do all of your hunting during the day so things are a little bit easier to see. If you're not familiar with the neighborhood, make sure you're with someone else or do a little research before you go into the neighborhood. But just some more common sense things are make sure you have your phone, which you'll have if you're playing the game. So if something doesn't seem right, you can call the police or can call 911. We can come out and investigate. And we certainly ask that you please don't poke and drive.
So let that be a lesson to you, Kristin Lagana.
Why me?
No hunting Pokemon while driving.
I don't have the app, Dave.
You're telling the truth.
I don't have the app.
Do you know anyone who has the app?
Yes.
Make sure they don't drive while they're using the app.
That is what scares me about this.
Are you Snapchatting while driving?
No, I don't Snapchat.
You can't Snapchat. You can't.
I don't even
selfies.
understand Snapchat.
You
I'm not going to do it while driving.
Okay.
No, but I have read instances where people are saying they have found Pokemon in cars while driving, and how there has to be accidents racking up, people driving through red lights, people pulling over randomly on the sides of roads to catch Pokemon. I like the game for certain reasons. I think that it encourages people to get out and get some exercise.
Let's go through the positives.
Great.
Okay. Exercise. Kids need exercise. Don't be in the house all the time.
We are combining a video game with physical activity. All about that. The nostalgia factor. I think it's cool to bring back something that a lot of people were into back in the 90s. I'm always a fan of, if done right, bringing back a little nostalgia. And I think that they're positive characters. It's not like something that we, don't want to encourage kids to get into. They're not saying foul words. They're not using weapons. It's just little characters.
But have you seen, you saw in the clip there, it kind of looks like Zombieland because there's 30 people walking around looking at their phone. It's weird. I was standing in the middle of it going,
I don't know.
This is kind of strange.
So those would be the cons. I think it's making people distracted. It can lead to distractions on the road, distractions in the streets. So
and how about
walking, driving.
The guy said in the segment that there were 50 people and sometimes up to 100 people out at that plaza at 3 a.m.
Right.
Playing the game. What happens when somebody gets in a fight?
You're not paying attention. You get a fight. You're getting robbed.
Yeah.
And it's not always in an appropriate place like the Holocaust Museum where you should be hunting Pokemon.
Right.
So
I use some common sense.
I'm kind of.
And you know that this is so hot right now that it's only a matter of time until we have 50 different games that are similar.
Geocaching games.
They're geocaching games, and you're a superhero, or you're this, or you're that. And I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out, and it'll be a good thing. Because it does have things to it that are really good. And one more thing I saw today that was an interesting phenomenon is people walking up to strangers and talking to them.
Oh.
Because they're all playing the game.
Yeah.
Did you find the Pikachu?
I understand there's teams.
Did you find the Zord?
So people are working together, and that's cool.
Right.
Okay, so the funny story. Of course, you're going to see all these spin-offs off of Pokemon Go because people are making fun of it or want their own game interpreted. So the cute little video.
If you say Ninja Turtles.
No.
Okay.
Cute little video I happened upon today was a woman in the suburbs who filmed her promotion for Chardonnay Go. It's where you have an app that tells you where glasses of Chardonnay are out in the suburbs. It's for all the moms out there while the kids are at soccer practice to play Chardonnay Go.
That's pretty cool.
So they did
like
this
that.
little video where she hops in like a minivan and she's like, Donna, stop the car. And she jumps out and there's a glass of Chardonnay. So it was hilarious. I thought it was so funny.
I mean, once you start talking about it, there's so many applications to this. And so we're going to have to figure it out.
We are.
Everybody use common sense, please.
Yes.
And don't get hurt.
And if anybody out there really is interested in starting up Chardonnay Go, I'm all about it.
You could be the avatar for that. You would be a good avatar for that. Yeah, it'd work good.
Well, Dave, a recent proposal to upgrade Beverly Triton Park in Mayo has generated some strong opposition from local residents. And on July 26, residents will get to hear directly from County Executive Steve Shue and representatives from Planning and Zoning and Recreation and Parks about the projects and other development issues on the peninsula. The County Council recently approved Shue's proposal to add parking, bathrooms, and other amenities to the park. There is also a building moratorium on the peninsula that is set to expire soon. The public meeting will be held on Tuesday, July 26 at 7 p.m. at the Mayo Elementary School cafeteria located at 1260 Mayo Ridge Road in Edgewater.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk to Dr. David Rose from the Anne Arundel County Health Department about the Zika virus. Take a look at our community calendar for what's happening around town, and we'll be right back.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have with us from the Anne Arundel County Department of Health, Dr. David Rose. Doctor, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Now, how long have you been working with the county?
Oh, I've been with the county for a little more than 5 years now. Oh, I'm sorry, a little more than 3 years now.
And what's your role with the health department?
I'm the Deputy Health Officer with the Department of Health. I assist our county's health officer, Dr. Chan, in managing the bureaus there as we all work to promote, preserve, and protect the health of everyone in the county.
And of course, we thank you very much for all you do to keep us healthy.
Absolutely.
We just had our big Healthy Anne Arundel month. So
Yes,
that
we
was pretty
did.
fun. Did you do a healthy selfie?
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely,
you
I
did.
did.
You did a very nice
Absolutely,
one.
I did. Yes, a little embarrassing, but it's all
Can
for
we
good
put that up?
cause.
We'll put that up there.
We'll put a
for you.
healthy
Oh,
selfie.
thank you.
There we
Look
go.
at that. Look at that. Wow.
Good one.
So we want to talk about Zika virus a little bit, and you know, this is one of those things where people aren't always paying attention or they're not sure what's what. Tell us, first of all, simply what the Zika virus is.
Zika virus is a virus that is transmitted in various different ways, but it was first discovered in Africa. It is transmitted the same way as yellow fever and West Nile, meaning through the bites of a mosquito, a particular type of mosquito, an Aedes mosquito. We have several here in
80s?
Maryland. Aedes mosquito.
Is there a 90s and a 70s? What?
No,
Really tips of today, mosquitoes.
I like the 80s, you know?
But these are the type of mosquitoes that are very good vectors for the virus. And so it's actually not that distinct disease, a very incapacitating disease. It may last for about a week. The symptoms are very mild. In the broad stroke, we're talking about things like a fever, maybe conjunctivitis, pink eye, some muscle or joint pains, and perhaps a slight rash that may be itchy, and that really goes away in about a week. So it's not something in and of itself that we would typically normally worry about, and it mimics other diseases, so it's not something that's come to the fore. The problem is that now we have an outbreak in the Americas. Started last year in Brazil, and is now up to 40 countries in the Americas where there are local transmission of the virus via mosquito, this Aedes mosquito. It's also transmitted via sexual transmission. A symptomatic male can pass it on to his receptive partners, to either a man or a woman, and it also can be transmitted by a mother to their unborn child, and that's where really we're concerned.
You can have birth defects. Right?
You can have birth defects. Matter of fact, in Brazil right now, there is a 10 to 20 time increase in their usual rate of microcephaly, which is where the head of the infant is smaller for age and for sex than some other child. And so that speaks to brain malformation, which is what Zika does. And because of that, you can have, if it's severe enough, you can have seizures, developmental delay, and all kinds of other issues. And so that's really why we're concerned about it, the potential for the unborn child.
What can you tell us right now about the current advisories against traveling to certain areas, to certain countries, in regards to Zika?
The CDC maintains a list of countries under advisory for Zika. They talk about pregnant women perhaps delaying any travel to these areas, protecting yourself with insect repellent as best you can. For those that can't use insect repellent, making sure you use mosquito netting for the very young and for those who can't use it. And then when you come back, remember that the one thing about this disease is that only 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 individuals who's infected actually has symptoms. So most people who are infected have no idea they're infected. And so it really is a matter of, if you've gone to these countries, when you come back to the States, protect yourself utilizing, and others, utilizing insect repellent. And why do you do that? Because you may be a receptacle of the virus and you don't even know it. And so you make sure that at least for 3 weeks when you return, you're using insect repellent to prevent these Aedes mosquitoes who actually already live here from becoming infected. Because it's not the mosquitoes.
Because our mosquitoes don't have it yet.
Yes,
so
that's exactly the case.
Okay.
It's not the mosquitoes. There's no mosquito flying from Cuba up here.
Okay.
Now, one may stow away on a plane, but that's a rarity.
It could happen.
It could happen. And actually, the FAA does speak to that, actually. But it's about the movement of people. But the good thing is, in this country, we have very good air conditioning, screening. We have very good public health system to identify these issues. And we also have good environmental health and agricultural departments here within the state and in the country in general. And so we have a way of hopefully preventing some of the complications of this disease. Because remember, there are already other diseases that are borne by mosquitoes, such as West Nile, such as chikungunya, such as yellow fever. We don't have issues with those, but these same people who have these diseases are coming to the country at the same rate that they're coming with perhaps Zika. But we don't have outbreaks of these other diseases because of our public health system and some of the other advantages we have in this country.
So I think you that's a good segue to my question, because I think a lot of people watching this are going to be a little bit skeptical when they hear about these things, because we've had this litany of, bird flu and E. coli and mad cow and swine flu and, all these various things. It sounds like what you're saying is that we should take all of them seriously, and because of the fact that we did take them seriously, we controlled outbreaks of them in this country. Would that be a good way of putting it?
That would be a good way of putting it. The public health system is very good at sensing and responding, whether that's the CDC, DHMH on our state level, the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, or locally with our Department of Health. We all work together in these issues, and sometimes internationally. The Pan American Health Association and the World Health Association are all part of dealing with this current Zika outbreak. And so yes, we all respond to these, whether that's through vaccine programs, mosquito control, which is what we're into now, education of the public, anything we can possibly do, travel advisories, to prevent these issues from becoming really big outbreaks and serious problems for our population.
Are there any other things that you can recommend regarding preventing more mosquitoes coming in around the house, besides the insect repellent, besides, of course, the screening? What else would you recommend?
Well, a big thing you can do around your home is to decrease standing water. These particular mosquitoes, the Aedes mosquitoes, love to live around people. And so they'll reproduce in areas that collect water, but perhaps on a temporary basis. So imagine you have a kiddie pool in your backyard that you forgot to put away, or old toys, perhaps, that collect water when it rains temporarily, or even tarps that may have kind of a dip in them that kind of collect water and then it might dry up. These in particular are good areas for the mosquitoes to lay their eggs. And so what you can do on a weekly basis is make sure that you're decreasing any standing water in your yard. Perhaps dumping things that need to be dumped, putting away things that need to be put away. And for those things that you cannot dump, say you collect rainwater, they do sell larvicide at various hardware stores and such, where you can put a larvicide in there and it'll stop the progress of the development of the mosquitoes in the larva stage, where they either starve to death or are eaten by fish or some other animal. And so that's something, these are things that you can do around your home, in addition to making sure you have good air conditioning, if you can, screens, utilizing those as best you can. These are things you can do environmentally.
Very good. Well, thank you for so much great information on the Zika virus. Once again, to kind of sum up, we want to make sure there's insect repellent, make sure you have screens properly placed around your windows, making sure that you're getting rid of any standing water in and around your home. And of course, if people want more information or if they're looking for some answers to questions, of course, the Anne Arundel County Department of Health website, Facebook, great resources. We thank you so much, Dr. Rose, for coming on the show today and for your time.
It's my pleasure.
And we will be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back. This week, Pat Daly sat down with an important community volunteer for the Timber Ridge Homeowners Association. That's located near BWI Airport. The president is Richard Hanna, and Pat wanted to learn more about the group. Pat?
One of the best parts of my job is traveling Anne Arundel County, meeting different people from all walks of life in many different communities. Today I'm here with Richard Hanna, who just stepped down as president of the Timber Ridge Improvement Association after a good many years as member and president. Mr. Hanna, thanks for joining us today. Thank you for letting us come to your beautiful home and speak to you about, your memories of Timber Ridge. Can you tell us a little bit about, what you have enjoyed most about being a member of the association and a member of the community?
Well, I've enjoyed being a member of this community. It's got a lot of good people in it, and the community is quiet. It's a nice community. People try to keep their houses up, and it just makes good for living in the community. I've lived here for 23 years. We bought this house for a retirement home. We hope to live here the rest of our lives, and it's just been a good place. And during this course of 23 years, I've tried to help the community in some way, a little bit. I've been president of the Community Association on and off for about 15 years. We've been, my wife and I, Pat, she helped me. We were in the Welcoming Committee for about 3 years, and I've been in the Airport Committee for about 5 years. I've had a lot of good people that came before me and showed me the way to go to things to do. And like I say, we've just tried to make this pleasant community a good place to live.
And I know that Dorsey Road's probably a lot busier than it was 20 years ago. Would you agree?
Well, Dorsey Road was terrible until they put 100 up. And 100 made Dorsey Road almost reasonable. But now it's back to almost the way it was. And when I was here, they first started here, they would have many accidents going into the airport observation area with people making left-hand turns, and it wasn't a left-hand turn area. We got together and we petitioned the county to put a left turn signal, a left turn lane there, so to stop the accidents, which the county did do, and that improved the road immensely. Like not as many accidents at that point, because that was a very dangerous point. We're lucky here in Timber Ridge. It was one of the fine points. We don't have the airport traffic over this specific point. I tell people I can throw a stone to the airport, but we don't have the planes coming over our house like they do in other neighborhoods. Right. So that's one of the good points of this neighborhood. There was some talk about the new runway that might run planes over the neighborhood, but that's not going to happen. So it's a way the airport does keep in touch with the community, and it is interesting to hear some of their plans and such as that.
Well, my father told me to lead by example, and Mr. Rich has definitely done that here in Timber Ridge for a number of years. Mr. Rich, thank you very much, Mr. Hanna, for talking to us today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Pat. There are so many homeowners associations and similar groups around the county where regular people give their personal time to help make their communities better. Thanks to Mr. Hanna for talking with us.
So much nostalgia. What?
There's a Bulbasaur on the desk.
Oh, nice little Bulbasaur.
Oh, so cute.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I can't believe Pokemon are popular again.
The nostalgia.
But then again,
so we're back in 1996 now.
Right, but then again, I guess I really can because.
Did you have the cards?
I didn't have the cards. I did Pogs. Do you remember Pogs?
Pogs came after that, right?
I don't know. I think they were before or after. But, you know, 90s fashion is really hot again. We're seeing a lot of, you remember when girls would wear chokers, little chokers, or they would wear a shirt under a dress. Everybody looks like Cher from Clueless again right now. So there's that. There's, of course, so many remakes of popular movies and Disney movies right now. We have the Beauty and the Beast remake that's coming out.
Jungle Book.
We had Jungle Book.
Tarzan.
Remember
Tarzan was a TV show?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I watched that show all the time.
That was really good. Well, Suicide Squad's on a remake, of course, but we're seeing a lot of characters from the Batman cartoon that are going to be in that. We've got, what were the remakes? Oh, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, we're constantly borrowing ideas from the past and putting our own little modern spin on them. So my question is for you with this recent Pokemon Go craze.
Yes.
What trend or pop icon would you like to see come back?
You go first.
Okay, so when I was little, I had a favorite toy.
Oh, wait, I know what it is.
Do you?
Gem.
Well, yeah, but that was already tried and that failed.
It failed.
Failed majorly. Rock. Okay, so there's this thing called a roller racer that was essentially like handlebars from a bike hooked onto what looked like the seat of a bike, and you rolled around on the ground, and like you could go down hills and you steered it with your feet on the handlebars. It was an awesome toy. And I was so sad when they stopped making those.
Okay.
And Skip It. I loved Skip It.
Skip It.
Yeah. So that would be.
I liked my Tonka trucks when I was a kid.
Tonka trucks.
But here's
they still make.
Here's what I want.
Here's what you want.
Here's what I want. Greatest American Hero.
Greatest American Hero.
Greatest American Hero. If you don't know about it, kids, you know, Google it, and you'll Google it and you'll be like, what is this? But I've actually researched this because I really wanted to come back, and apparently the guy who wrote the show refuses to sell the rights, and so it's not going to happen anytime soon. But one of the best theme songs for a TV show ever. And basically, real quick, the plot is that a regular guy gets superpowers and he cannot figure out how to use them, and he's constantly crashing into walls and doing stuff like that. It's a lot of slapstick humor.
Yeah.
Great show. Love that show. I missed that show.
That's a good one.
So I want to bring that back.
And then real quick question, one movie they should never ever try to remake.
Movie they should never try to remake.
I'll give my top 3 first.
Toxic Avenger.
Oh, that was quick.
Thank you.
Don't, please do not touch The Princess Bride.
Yeah. See, I went with bad movie. You went with good movie that you don't touch.
No, I'm saying don't touch.
I see.
Don't touch Labyrinth. Out of respect, number 1.
See, you're going all nerd now.
Yeah,
I don't even know Labyrinth.
And number 3.
Oh, what's the song in that?
You remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. Who do you do? And obviously.
Was that a Salt and Pepper song?
No.
I mean, Left Eye Lopez and.
No, TLC? No.
Yeah. Don't go chasing. No. I'm not saying it was that song. Anyway.
And then third, obviously, no one's going to be able to do Purple Rain.
No. Nobody would try to do that.
No.
You know what? Somebody might try and do a biopic on Prince.
Like, don't you think the Jonas Brothers or somebody would try and let's do a remake of the movie and I'll be the star? No.
Prince died how many months ago? Maybe 2 months ago. And to this day, no one has done a cover that I think does justice at all. So please, people, do not try and be Prince in a movie. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
They tried James Brown. It didn't work. Like, just no.
He was pretty good.
That's all right. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archive episodes online anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or Google Plus by searching Arundel TV. And watch out for those Pokemon.
Pikachu!
Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.